For today's headlines, Typhoon Quinta suspends classes. Phisgoc probe gets palace nod. Mateo names Miriam wins crown. Blackwater player test positive. Lacson stands ground, says House GAB illegal. CJ says water row resolve soon. War versus graft intensifies, says go. Bianca places third, pockets 4.2 million pesos. Good morning, I am Sunday Locos and you're watching Tribune News on Q. Today is Monday, October 26, and now the news. Typhoon Quinta made its fifth landfall over Pola Oriental Mindoro at 3:30 a.m. today. It was expected to be the final coastal crossing of the typhoon over the Philippine landmass, according to Pag-asa. Quinta has a maximum sustained winds of 125 km per hour near the center and gustiness of up to 180 km per hour. It is moving westward at 25 km per hour. Tropical cyclone wind signals 1 to 3 had been raised in several areas. The typhoon will bring moderate to heavy rains with at times intense rains over Camarines Norte, Camarines Sur, Calabarzon, Occidental Mindoro, Oriental Mindoro, Marinduque, Romblon, Northern Palawan including Calamian and Cuyo Islands, Aklan, Capiz, and Antique. Earlier, Quinta made landfalls in Torrijos, Marinduque at 1:20 a.m. today, San Andres, Quezon at 10:30 p.m. of yesterday, Malinaw, Albay at 6:50 p.m. of yesterday, and San Miguel Islands, Tabaco City, Albay at 6:10 p.m. yesterday. The center of the typhoon was forecast to traverse Mindoro Island and emerge over the West Philippine Sea this morning. It will then turn more west-northwestward while maintaining speed towards the western limit of the Philippine Area of Responsibility. Quinta is forecast to exit the bar tomorrow morning, still at typhoon category, throughout its passage over Mindoro Island after emerging over the West Philippine Sea. It is forecast to intensify and may reach its peak intensity within 24 to 48 hours. Classes at all levels had been cancelled in several areas, namely the provinces of Albay, Camarines Norte, Cavite, Quezon, in Metro Manila as follows: Caloocan, Las Piñas, Mandaluyong, Manila, Malabon, Muntinlupa City, Navotas, Pasay, San Juan City, Taguig City, and Valenzuela. Meantime, the Malacanang welcomed fresh calls for an investigation on the alleged corruption in the country's hosting of the 30th Southeast Asian Games last year. Presidential spokesperson Harry Roque said the palace, however, is leaving it to the Office of the Ombudsman and the House of Representatives to launch an inquiry and look into the anomalies haunting the embattled organizing body that was chaired by ousted Speaker Alan Peter Cayetano. Calls for the Philippine SEA Games Organizing Committee's investigation started in the Philippine Olympic Committee after 7 members of the Executive Council, headed by former Government Insurance System Incorporated President Clint Aranas, demanded an audited financial report of the SEA Games event. The POC General Assembly gave Cayetano and Phisgoc Chief Operating Officer and President Ramon Suzara until October 10 to present the financial statement in accordance to their tripartite agreement with the Philippine Sports Commission. But Phisgoc failed to comply, prompting the POC executives to raise the idea of filing breach of contract charges since the organizing body failed to fulfill its responsibility in the tripartite agreement. Aranas, also a former Bureau of Internal Revenue Deputy Commissioner, added that Phisgoc should have presented its audited financial statement 60 days after the completion of the event, but it's already 10 months and not a single document has been submitted to the Olympic Council. Speaker Lord Alan Velasco and Representative Jose Antonio C. Alvarado, who heads the House Committee on Good Government and Public Accountability, came up with a media statement expressing their willingness to look into the expenditures of Phisgoc. The Ombudsman, for its part, had already created a 7-man panel tasked to look into the allegations of corruptions of the $6 billion budget during the previous SEA Filipino-Indian physical therapist Mateo of Iloilo City bested 45 other candidates to win the Miss Universe Philippines crown during the beauty pageant's coronation night held at Baguio Country Club last October 23 but aired yesterday. Mateo's spontaneous responses to two-time questions impressed the judges, making the cum laude graduate the first winner of first edition of the pageant organized by the Miss Universe Philippines organization under strict health protocols. First, she was asked whose image of any Filipino does she want to be in a new paper currency if she were given the chance to create one. Mateo named the late Senator Miriam Defensor Santiago, whom she described as the president the country never had. For her second question, Mateo was asked where she thinks pageants stand during this time of pandemic. Mateo said the essence of a beauty pageant is giving candidates the power to make a difference and make an impact to the community. The other finalists of the pageant were Isabella Ismael of Parañaque City, who finished as first runner-up, Michelle Gumabaw of Quezon City, Pauline Amelins of Bohol, and Kimberly Hackinson of Cavite. Tribune News on Q will be back after these reminders.
This is a very important story. The important story.
Pictures and stories.
Today, we feel the weight of history on our shoulders.
The way we have been moving leads nowhere. We need to change course.
Since the United Nations was founded, the human race has never had to face a set of challenges like we do right now. But together, we can overcome them.
Meantime, a Blackwater player in the Philippine Basketball Association bubble has tested positive for COVID-19, prompting the isolation of his team and the last team they played with in a separate facility. The development also forced the PPA to postpone the scheduled game of Blackwater against Rain or Shine yesterday. The other scheduled game between Magnolia and Barangay Ginebra pushed through, with the Hotshots prevailing over the Chin Kings 102-92. He underwent RT-PCR swab testing alongside other members of his team last Thursday, PBA Commissioner Willie Marshall said. The player also has been brought to a facility at the New Clark City in neighboring Capas Tarlac and is scheduled to undergo rapid antigen testing and another set of swab testing as per PBA guidelines during this bubble setup. Meanwhile, Basis and Conversion Development Authority President and CEO Vince Dizon, who is also National Action Plan Against COVID-19 Deputy Chief Implementer, dismissed speculations that the bubble where the basketball games are being held under a sterilized environment has been breached. Dizon said the protocols have been followed and that there is no perfect test. Everyone can make a mistake. Senator Panfilo Lacson is not ready to give the House of Representatives version of the General Appropriations Bill the benefit of the doubt for allegedly being free of pork. Lacson had assailed as illegal the alleged revisions made after the bill passed the final reading and approval at the chamber. The action taken by the House Small Committee to introduce post-approval amendments into the GAB constituted a violation of the highest law of the land, the 1987 Constitution, according to the senator's letter to the editor. Lacson was replying to the October 24 editorial of the Daily Tribune. Lacson mentioned in the letter that Article 6, Section 26, Paragraph 2 states that upon the last reading of a bill, no amendment thereto shall be allowed, and the vote thereon shall be taken immediately thereafter, and the yeas and nays entered in the journal. The amendments through the small committee group could have been made before third and final approval of the bill had the House extended its session by a few days, or reserved later for the bicameral conference committee with the Senate, he said. Lacson said that after the House approved its version of the budget on third and final reading last October 16, the chamber continued to tackle institutional amendments to its bill via the interim body. Chief Justice Diosdado Peralta said yesterday, a resolution to the petitions compelling concessionaires, Maynilad Water Services, and Manila Water Corporation to put up water treatment facilities will be expedited under Republic Act 9275 or the Philippine Clean Water Act. The utility firms were required to provide water waste treatment facilities and to connect sewage lines in all establishments. The two concessionaires, however, failed to comply with the law, prompting the Supreme Court to fine Manila Water and Maynilad Water and water regulator Metropolitan Water Works and Sewerage System nearly 2 billion pesos in a decision issued on August 4, 2019. Peralta acknowledged the wastewater treatment facilities and sewerage systems are vital to ongoing efforts to rehabilitate the waters of Manila Bay. This sanction included 322,102 pesos a day subject to a further 10% increase every 2 years as provided under Section 28 of RA 9275 against the three entities until they have fully complied with the decision. Both firms and the MWSS sought a reconsideration of the SC decision. We will be back. Stay with us.
Magsha-shopping na lang ako!
Hashtag 143SM. Call to deliver.
Hello, can I get the following? One pink chair, bed sheets, na pink yung sofa, tapos slide, size 8, pajamas na blue. Oh, don't forget my...
Hashtag 143SM. Call to deliver.
Wait lang, okay ba yan?
Anything at the SM store, ma'am.
Call to deliver. Call.
Kuya, pwede rin ba ako magpa-deliver sa ate ko sa Taguig, tapos sa friend ko sa Davao, tsaka sa... Fiancé ko sa Lipa? Okay ba yan?
Kahit saan po, pwede kami mag-deliver.
Call to deliver. Call. Hashtag 143SM. Call to deliver. Hashtag 143SM. Call to deliver. Call. Hashtag 143SM. Hashtag 143SM. Call to deliver.
Call na rin kayo.
Call to deliver.
Good morning, sir. How may I help you?
Bakit kailangan ko pang pumunta sa bangko?
Oo nga naman, sir. Ba't kailangan pong pumunta sa bangko?
Why not get a UB app so you can do all these without going to the bank? Bank the way you live. Union Bank.
Since his and President Rodrigo Duterte's top advocacy is to fight the stubborn problem of corruption, Senator Christopher Lawrence Bongo committed yesterday that his stint in government from here on will be devoted to be the battle against irregularities. Go said he and President Rodrigo Duterte are already exasperated with the reports of corruption in government, and they want Filipinos to feel there is change in the system, so they will definitely fight corruption until the last day of their terms. The senator appealed to the agencies and his fellow public servants to shape up now as the people deserve nothing less but the best kind of service from a government that puts the welfare and interest of every Filipino first before their own. Go also called on Filipinos to share in the responsibility of ensuring integrity in government by reporting any anomaly they see. In sports, Bianca Pagdanganan posted her best finish in 6 starts in the Ladies Professional Golf Association Tour when she placed 3rd in the LPGA Drive on Championship in Greensboro, Georgia yesterday. The 22-year-old rookie made 16 consecutive pars before closing with back-to-back birdies from 2 under par, 70 and 14 under overall, 2 shots behind first-time winner Ali McDonald of the United States. It marked the second straight top 10 finish for the Filipina, who rose to become the tour's longest hitter. She shared 9th place in the KPMG Women's PGA Championship 2 weeks ago in Newton Square, Pennsylvania. Started the day 1 shot behind McDonald, Pagdanganan sustained her excellent tee to green play but could not get her birdie putts to drop until the last 2 holes. She finally drained a 15-footer on 17 and a 2-footer on the par 9 18 following a brilliant escape from the greenside bunker. Pagdanganan earned $83,557 or about 4.2 million pesos, bringing her career earnings to $186,260 or 9.3 million pesos. And that wraps up the stories this morning. Catch the latest news on our website tribune.net.ph and follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, Tribune Now. The Daily Tribune is one with the nation in facing the COVID-19 crisis, and in line with this, the Daily Tribune digital edition and press reader is now available for free online. Daily Tribune is also inviting everyone to join its community Viber Katribu to get updates on the freshest and hottest news and entertainment stories of the day. Toysito emoticons are also available on our community Viber. Just click on the link in this video to join. And before we go, we would like to thank the SM Store for our wardrobe. Again, this is Sandy Locos and you're watching Tribune News on Q. Stay safe, stay healthy, and stay at home. Good morning and have a nice day.